Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
So, in the last lecture, we discussed about the three ingredients of the generalized linear models. One is a distribution of the data. Second is a linear predictor, and third one is a link function. So, either you should know the distribution of data, or at the outset, from the based on the data, you can identify the distributions, or you can have a some variance to mean relationship exists between the you should have a some variance to mean relationship exists between them. And linear predictor is decided based on linear predictor is decided based on the domain experience. If you are working in the medical science, then medical science people can help you that which covariates affects your response. If you are talking into the agricultural science, then they will suggest you the which covariates affects your response. If you are working on a general insurance sector, they will suggest you that which covariates are more responsible for this. So that covariates is suggested by the domain expert itself, but they does not help you to tell what should be the relation between the response, expected response, and the covariate. So that you have to identify whether the relation between y and x is a linear or non-linear. So how we usually decide about the linearity and non-linearity? Either based on the past study, or we have the sample data are there, we can make a graphical representation of the data. It will suggest us whether the relation between y and x is linear or not. So if it is a non-linear, convert them into the linear by making some transformation. Or if it is a directly a linear, you can go with the linear predictors. But if it is non-linear and we are not in that position to convert into the linear, we cannot apply the generalized linear models. We have seen in the linear predictors the covariates or the quantitative variable predictor variables directly involved into the linear predictors with the coefficient in the linear predictors. So here the age of the driver of a general insurance claim, it is quantitative variables, and hence it is directly enter into the linear predictors. If it is a factor, then it has a different way of representing into the linear predictors that we will see. There is the entire section of a linear predictors in detail at later on. Third one is that we are interested to find out the expected value of y. So sometimes it may possible you cannot directly connect expected value of y is equal to linear predictors like this way. It can be only possible in a normal distribution. So in a such a case, we require some function of a mu, which can be directly equated to the linear predictors. So that function of a mean or expected response is known as a link function. And we know that how to obtain the link function. Link function is obtained through the natural parameter theta. You just compare the density function in the form of exponential family with exponential family distribution function, you can get the different function of a theta. For a normal distribution, theta is equal to mu. For a binomial distribution, theta equal to log mu upon 1 minus mu. For a Poisson distribution, it is a log mu. And for a gamma distribution, it is a 1 by mu. So that kind of a functional form is there, and we call this functional form as a link function. Why the word link? Because it is linking your expected response to the covariate or the linear predictor. So through that function, we are linking our expected response to the covariates. That is how it is a link function. So if you use 2 and 3 together, we can write g of theta equal to g of mu equal to eta, and therefore mu is equal to g inverse eta. that we have seen. Suppose we have the example of a response where the response is a count. So count is very well modeled by the Poisson distribution, and it is saying that the corresponding linear predictor is alpha plus beta x plus gamma x square. But our aim is that we wish to find out this expected response. So how to find out the expected response? The x is known to us, but alpha, beta, and gamma is unknown to us. So through this particular relationship, theta equal to eta equal to g of mu is equal to log mu, we can write the expected response mu is equal to e raised to eta, e raised to alpha plus beta, x plus gamma x square. Now, wherever the mu is appear in the probability mass function of a Poisson distribution, we will replace mu by this quantity, so that now alpha, beta, and gamma is enter into the probability mass function of a Poisson distribution. We can write the log likelihood. We can write the likelihood. Likelihood is nothing but the joint of the probability mass function, and then we take the log likelihood and take the derivative with respect to parameters alpha, beta, and gamma of a log likelihood. We can get the estimate of the parameters. And once we know the estimate of alpha, beta, and gamma, we just substitute into that. We can calculate the estimate of a mu, and that is the expected response, and that is our aim of a generalized linear model. So in generalized linear models, we usually apply when the response follow a distribution which is a member of exponential of family of distributions. So let us understand one example. Yesterday we discussed up to that. Any queries to anyone? Anyone? Any queries up to yesterday's lecture?
No, sir.
Okay. And whatever videos I am uploading on YouTube, is it audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Clarity is good?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And if you feel that I am very fast at some place, please stop me so that I will be slow, so that it will help you to understand very well. Because classroom
Yes.
teaching is a different thing and the online teaching is a different thing.
Yes, sir.
Sure, sir.
But you all are good students, so you people are cooperating well to us. Thank you very much. Okay. Now we will jump into the example, how the generalized linear models are useful for the model building. So let us understand the one realistic situation. Suppose that we are setting up a model to predict the pass rate for a particular student in a particular actuarial exam. Suppose a student who is giving the actuarial exam, now you wish to predict what is the pass rate of a student who enter into that or giving the examination. Now, how will you judge the passing rate of the students in examination? So, of course, to judge that, there are some factors that affect. So, here we might expect there to be many factors that affect whether a student is likely to pass or not. So, पेपर लिखने के लिए भी बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ती है ना. So there are so many factors which are responsible for to decide whether the student is going to pass in or fail in the examination. So this is the problem of whom? It is the problem of the university or the actuarial science body, that how many students are appear in the examination and how many students are passing. Suppose if we talk about the generalized linear model paper, and I wish to know how many student is going to pass my generalized linear model paper at the end of the semester 3 examination. Now, if the passing rate is very high, so what we can say? If passing rate is very low, what we can say? If passing rate is very high, then again there is a question, something is doubtful. If passing rate is very low, then again there is a question why the passing rate is low. Then the institute or the teacher or the department is interested to know that why in this particular paper the students are having a more chance to clear the examination, and this paper the student have a less chance to clear the examination. There are n number of factors which are affecting the teaching methodology, whether it is online or offline, the experience of the teachers, the merit of the students at the undergraduate level, or the first two semester examination, or the attendance of the students, regular the student is attending the classes, or extra reading materials, as he has given the he obtained the good score in the internal examination, as he has given the assignments, as he has given the seminars, etc., etc. So that means there are many things are associated, and simultaneously how many hours the student is giving for preparing that particular subject. So this is a problem of a education system. An education system wish to know that in a what way we can make the students to learn. Ultimately, the education system approach is the student should learn. Students should get something new, and students should develop today more compared to the yesterday where he was. So here the education scientist has suggested, sir, there are three factors which are highly important, that what they feel, that number of assignments, so we call them as a random variable capital N, submitted by the students. Whether the student has submitted 0 assignment, 1 assignment, or up to 4. So that assignment score I am applying from 0 to 4. Second is that suppose if I have taken the mock test examination before final examination, for example, you have taken your mock test exam, the students mark on the mock test exam, so that is said to be a score S, and the scale is from 0 to 100. We have taken the mock test of 20 marks, we can convert into the 100 by just simply multiplying by the 5. So what is the score of the mock test exam? That is measured in a 0 to 100. Whether the student had attended the tutorials, so remedial lectures are there, tutorials are there, whether the student has attended that particular or not. Okay. So these are the three variables which are really important for this. Now you can see that here the number of assignments submitted by the student is a quantitative variable. The marks of the mock exam, capital S, is also a quantitative variables because it is measured from 0 to 100, and the whether the student has attended the tutorial, yes or no, so it is a categorical variable. That means in my study there are three variables which are affecting my passing rate. Out of three, there are two variables which are quantitative in nature and one variable which is of a qualitative in nature. So it is a mix. So how to write my linear predictor? So, and it is assumed that the relation between the passing rate and the all variables having a linear relationship. This is assumed. So therefore we can write the linear predictors. So how many predictors we have? 1, 2, and 3. Out of 3 predictors, 2 predictors are of a quantitative in nature and 1 predictor is of a qualitative in nature. So as I told you earlier, whenever the predictor is of a quantitative in nature, it is directly involved into the linear predictor. So here capital N and capital S is a quantitative variable, we call them as a covariate, and therefore both variables are introduced into the linear predictors. But I have not introduced this variable as a variable into the linear predictors. Here I am writing that alpha I. When I am writing alpha I, that means I equal to 1. That means whether the student has attended the tutorial, and alpha I equal to 2, that means the student has not attended the tutorial. Or I can write the 0 and 1. So let us say where n is the number of assignments submitted, s is the mark on the mock exam, and alpha I takes one value for those attending the tutorials and different value for those who does not. Suppose I equal to 1, so that is giving the alpha 1. I equal to 2, that is giving the alpha 2. I equal to 1 for the student who has attended the tutorials, and I equal to 2, that means students who does not attend the tutorials. Is that clear how to write the linear predictors? Whenever there is a quantitative variables are there, we call them as a covariate, and whenever the covariates present in your model, it directly involve into the linear predictors with some coefficient. But whenever there is a categorical variable is there, we call them as a factor. So it does not directly enter as a variable, but how many categories it has a? It has a 2 categories. So therefore, it has a 2 categories. Therefore, there are 2 parameters are involved, and that is associated with the alpha I. Alpha I, that means I takes value 1, a student who has attended the tutorial, and I equal to 2 who has not attended the tutorial. Okay, so we have the problem is that we are interested to measure the passing rate. Now, when you are interested to obtain the passing rate, what it means? Whether the student is passed or not. So response is binary. Am I right?
Yes.
Because whether the student is going to pass or fail, so it is a response is a binary. And when the response is binary, it means that it has the distribution is
Bernoulli distribution.
Bernoulli distribution. Very good. So that means when the response is binary, then it has a Bernoulli distribution if it is a single trial. But here, suppose we have a data of 1,000 students, then the distribution become the binomial. So based on the nature of the response, you can identify the distribution of a data. So here, because the distribution is a binomial, so what is the link function is needed?
Q is equal to log
Theta equal to log mu upon 1 minus mu. So we call them as a logit link. Okay. So it means that once based on the response, we have identified the distribution. Based on the nature of covariates, we have identified the linear predictors. And now third aspect is that we wish to go for the link function. Okay. We now need a link function theta, because theta equal to, usually we write the eta. Theta is some function of g mu. Here it will not necessarily take a value in the interval 0, 1. So suppose you find out the link function or linear predictors. Can you say that the value of eta is lies between 0 to 1? Suppose S is a mock test score is, let us say, 70. He has attended he has submitted 3 assignment, and alpha I takes value 1. That means the student has attended the tutorial. So for a given value of alpha I, beta 1, beta 2, can you say that eta is lies between 0 to 1? No, we can't say, because S is 70, so there is a chance. Suppose beta 2 is, let us say, 1. Then what happen? The eta becomes more than 70. Okay, so that means we cannot directly find out the probability of success, because probability of success or the passing rate is lies between the interval 0 to 1. However, our eta is lies between minus infinity to infinity. So we cannot compare the left hand side, which is of a 0 to 1 interval, and right hand side is on a real line. And therefore, we require some transformation on the expected response. So here our expected response is probability of passing rate. Okay, so that is our expected response that we are interested to obtain. So we have to make some transformation of this probability of passing rate so that that transform value is lies between minus infinity to infinity, so that we can compare the transform value with the linear predictor, and then we can apply the our modeling approach. If they are not identical, then we cannot apply. Am I right? Are you getting my point? This is very important. How the link function is very important.
Sir,
So
can you
what is-
repeat? Sir, can you repeat? I did not understand it completely.
Yes. See, passing rate, whether the student is pass or not, and when you find out the rate, so passing rate is always lies between 0 to 1. You have to answer, then we
Yes,
can have idea. Yes. So it is lies between 0 to 1. But
Yes.
when you talk about the linear predictors, the range of mock test score is between 0 to 100.
Yes.
Number of assignment is 0 to 4,
0 to 4.
and alpha it takes value 1 or 0.
1 or 0.
Okay, so that means it is showing that the eta may or may not belong into the 0 to 1.
Yes.
It is lies between, let us say, on a real line. Suppose all coefficients are negative, then it becomes the negative, because the rest of the things are positive. So it is lies between on a real line. However, our expected response is on a 0 to 1. So
Yes.
can you compare 0 to 1 with the real line?
No.
That is not possible. So if I wish to compare both the quantity, then what happen? I have to make a transformation on a 0 to 1 so that it convert into the real line minus infinity to infinity.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and
Yes,
that
sir.
is how the link function is very important. Let us understand. Here, because the response is binary, then the natural parameter of binomial distribution theta is given by ln mu upon 1 minus mu. Here mu is nothing but the passing rate. So what is the range of passing rate?
Range of
Yo.
0 to 1. 0 to
0 to
1.
1. Very good. Now you just focus in this quantity. If you have a pen and paper, you can try to see this. If you, let us say mu equal to 0. So what happened to mu upon 1 minus mu 0? If you write mu equal to 0, that means let us say the passing probability of the student is 0. So what happens 0 upon 1 minus 0? It is 0.
Not possible.
0 upon 1 minus 0, not possible. 0 upon 1 minus 0, that is 0 upon 1.
0.
Upon 1 is 0.
0, 0, 0.
And that means if mu equal to 0, this quantity is 0. And therefore log of 0 is?
0.
Log of 0 is minus infinity. Log 1 equal to 0 hota hai.
Log of 1 is 0.
Now another thing is that if you take the mu equal to, let us say 0.5, what happened? So this is the 0.5.
1.
It is a 1. Log 1 is 0. Okay, and log 1 is 0. Okay, so that means if you take mu equal to 0, eta takes value minus infinity. If you take mu equal to 0.5, eta takes value 0.
1.
Eta log of 1 is 0.
0.
And if you take mu equal to 1, what happen?
1 by 1 minus 1. 1 by 0 not defined.
Not defined. So that means it is the infinity. And when it is infinity, the log of infinity is also infinity. So that
Infinity.
means now this transformation convert your response, which is lies between 0 to 1 to the minus infinity to infinity. कर रहा है ना ये?
हाँ.
तो इसका मतलब है कि now this transformation can be compared with the eta, that is the linear predictor. So now both value are on a real line, minus infinity to infinity.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how, so weak transformation help you to convert the response from expected response from the 0 1 to the real line. So it is said to be a this transformation, and this transformation is known as a logic transformation, and therefore whatever the regression models we are applying, it is said to be a logistic regression. So now you can compare. So if you write theta equal to this, because we know that theta equal to eta. What is theta? Theta equal to this quantity for a binomial distribution. Okay. So here we do not require to worry which transformation we have to take. If we know that response is Bernoulli, we can have the idea that this transformation is sufficient for the equating with the linear predictors. Otherwise, you have to manually verify it. Okay. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if you compare this quantity, what happens? Mu equal to 1 upon 1 plus, you have the particularly pen and paper is with you. What is the form of mu? So here, if you take the exponent both the sides, so it is a mu upon 1 minus mu is equal to e raised to eta. And therefore, mu upon 1 minus mu is equal to e raised to eta. Mu equal to 1 upon 1 plus 1 by e raised to eta. And therefore, this can be written in this form. You can verify it. Okay, it is the simple mathematics. So now, if I know the value of alpha, beta 1, beta 2, I can get the value of eta. And if I know the value of eta, I will substitute it. What I will get? I will get the passing probability of the student. And here the mu is lies between 0 to 1. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Only 1 or 2 students are responding. What others are doing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That means many of them are not having a pen and paper with them. They are just listening with leisure. Is it? See, this is the class of statistics, not is the class of philosophy that you can listen and you get everything. You have to simultaneously work out something. Okay. Anyhow, good. So now it means that whenever the mu is available in our binomial distribution function, we have to substitute this quantity. And in this quantity, eta is this. So that means alpha, beta, and beta 1 and beta 2 is directly enter into the binomial distribution function. So we can write the likelihood. We can write that joint log likelihood and then take the derivative with respect to parameter. कौन से parameters है now? Alpha I, beta 1 and beta 2, and equated them to 0, and we get the estimate of the alpha I, beta 1 cap and beta 2 cap. So which method we have adopted? That is known as a maximum likelihood estimation. So we now use the maximum likelihood estimation method to estimate the 4 parameters. Why here 4 parameters? Because alpha Y, that means the student who has attended the tutorial. So there is coefficient. Alpha N means it is the student who does not attend the tutorial. Beta 1 is nothing but the coefficient of the number of assignments submitted, and beta 2 is the student's marks on the mock exam, the coefficient of that. So you can obtain the estimate of the parameters alpha Y, alpha N, beta 1 and beta 2. So to do so, we need the actual exam result of a large sample of students who fall into each of the category. So how will you obtain the estimate of parameters? Mathematically you obtain, but once you obtain the alpha estimate of the parameters, to get its numeral value, we require the large data. So we have to ask to the department, please provide the data of the students who has given the mock test, who has attended the tutorials, who has submitted the assignment, and their passing rate, whether the student is passed or not. So based on that available information, I can obtain the estimate of the parameters alpha Y, alpha N, beta 1 and beta 2. So we have the data and then we obtain this, we get this estimate. There are 4 parameters. So we can have a 4 parameter. What is the estimate of alpha Y? It is minus 1.501. What is the estimate of alpha N? It is a minus 3.146. And what is the coefficient of number of assignments submitted by the students, it is a 0.54, and mock test score, it is a 0.025. So it means that you can see that these two coefficients are positive. So what it indicates, if the student submit more assignment and having a more marks in the mock test, he is likely to pass examination. Is it? You can see this. If these are positive, if you submit n is equal to, let us say 3, that means you have submitted 3 assignment, and s equal to 70, that is the 70 marks you have achieved into the mock test exam, then of course this coefficient is very high. This quantity is very high, so that means eta is very high, and eta is very high, that means e raised to minus eta is almost negligible. So that means 1 upon 1 is almost near to 1. So that means there is a more chance of passing in the examination. Now we will see that we have a two estimate value, a student who has attended the tutorials and who has not attended the tutorials. So you can say that who has not attended the tutorials, that coefficient is more negative compared to the who has attended the tutorials. So it means that a student who has attended the tutorials and submitted the number of assignment and given the mock test, having a more likely to pass examination compared to the students who has not attended, giving the submitted the assignment and giving the mock test. Why? The student who has submitted assignment having a more chance, because here less negative. So eta become the less smaller compared to the students who has not attended the tutorial. Okay, so based on the sign, you can easily identify whether your coefficient is positive, then it is saying that it will help to increase the passing rate. If the coefficient is negative, it means that as the variable value is higher, it means it will decrease the probability of passing. We can now use the linear predictor and linear function to predict the pass rates for the group of students with a particular characteristics. So now we have this estimate. Now any student's record is with us. We wish to find out what is the probability of passing of the student. So for example, a student who attends the tutorial. So what is the coefficient of students who attend the tutorials? Minus 1.501. Submit 3 assignment. That means n equal to 3. What is the coefficient? 0.5459. And score 65% on the mock test. So he secured the 65 marks out of 100. So the coefficient of this is a 0.025. So just substitute that. What is the eta value? Eta is 1.7682. Now we know that what is the mu. So mu is equal to 1 plus e raised to minus eta raised to minus 1. But what is the eta? Eta we are getting 1.762. So we just substitute and just make the simple calculation. You will get the passing rate is 0.8542. So that means a student who has attended the tutorial, submitted the 3 assignments and having the 65% score in the mock test, what is the passing rate of the student? It is a 0.85. That means he has 85% chances that the student is going to pass. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, can you tell me what should be the passing rate of the students who has not submitted the assignment?
1 minus 0.8.
Yes. Yes. 1 minus 0.8.
1 minus? You have to calculate.
We have to put 0.
Pardon?
For assignments, we have to put 0, where it's like 0.5.
In place of
किसी का माइक ज्यादा ब्लर कर रहा है. We rest of the things remain same. He has submitted 3 assignments. he secured the 65% marks, but he has not submitted the tutorial. So here instead of minus 1.5, you have to write minus 3.146. So this is the linear predictor for the student who has not, if you write minus 3.146 instead of this, then this is the linear predictor for the students who has not submitted the attended the tutorial, submitted 3 assignment and having the score of 65% in the mock test. But what is the passing rate? Calculate immediately. What will you get? Okay, we will calculate here. Can you see the window properly?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible, all the things?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now it is more clear. So what is the eta? So eta is equal to, here we have given that, let us say a student who has not attended the tutorial, what is the score? It is a minus
146.
Minus 3.146.
3.146. Okay. Then
Yes.
S is equal to 65. Then N equal to 3.
3.
Okay.
3.
Eta equal to, what is that? AN. That means student who has not attended this. What is the beta one? B1 equal to it is 0.5459.
0.54.
What is beta 2? It is
0.05.
0.2025.
So we have a AN equal to this, S equal to 65, N equal to 3, B1 equal to this, B2 equal to this. Okay. Now what is the eta? Eta is equal to AN plus B1 into
And
N plus
N.
B2 into S.
yes.
What is the value of eta? It is a 1.3.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Earlier what was there?
63. 65.
It is earlier it was showing it is a minus 1.768. Okay, but here now it is a, why? Because
Point.
AN is very high. So what is the mu? Mu is equal to 1 plus exponent of minus eta
Raised to minus 1.
raised to minus 1 की जगह पे 1 by कर देते हैं. वही same ही हुआ. So this is giving the mu. So what is that? 0.53. So you can see that if the student who has attended the tutorials, then his probability of passing is 85%. However, if the student who has not attended the tutorial, his probability is a 53%.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the similar, you can see that a student who has attended the online classes and students who did not attend the online classes, that will happen to this gentleman if they have the higher score in the mock test, even the higher score in the number of assignments submitted, seminar, quiz, etc. But it does not help you to increase your passing rate. Why? Because understanding will always helpful to understand the subject, and that is only possible if you attend the classes. Okay. So this is where you can use the R language and you can immediately calculate. And these are the procedure of finding the probability of passing rate. So these are the some segment of a logistic regression. We will see in the practical later on. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any question, any doubt up to this examination example?
No, sir.
Similarly, हाँ अभी mic आप सबका off कर दीजिए. Similarly, you can have the various situation around you. For example, if we talk about that the failure of engine, okay, so whether the engine is failed or not, so how will you identify the whether the engine is going to fail or not, or the transformation is going to fail or not? तो आपने ट्रांसफार्मर देखा है ना, जो आपके वहाँ घर पे बिजली आ रही है, whatever the electricity is supplied, so there are two types of a transformer, step up and step down. Okay, so whether the transformer is able to manage the load or not. So how much amount of the load the transformation can manage? So you have to transfer the voltage, and then you have to see that whether the transformer is failed or transformer is survived. So transformer is failed, it means that whatever the coil is available in the transformer, it burns, and that is how the transformer is failed. So whatever the coil you have made, whatever the insulin you have made on the coil, whether that capacity of the insulin, whether the insulin quality is higher or not, so that can be identified based on a such kind of a model. Okay, in shopping mall, whether you have arranged some items, whether the customer is going to buy the particular product or not, how will you identify? So let us say whether the gender of the respondent is responsible to buy the product, whether the age of the respondent is responsible to buy the product, okay, whether the profession of the respondent is very important, whether the lucrative packing of the product is very important, that the customer is going to buy the product, whether the scheme is important. See, so shopping mall is always interested to see that what is the probability that this individual is going to buy this product. So what are the factors which are responsible for that? The similar fashion, you can proceed with that. So ultimately, whatever you learn, you try to apply the same theory on a different domain. You can have a different example, and it will always help you to get the placement into the organization. Okay, so we were in that example, we talk about the link function. And in that link function, we had applied the logit link. Here you can see that. So there are various link functions are there. The name of the link function and the form of the link functions are there. So what is link function? Why it is required? So I told you earlier, but we will read it carefully. Technically, it is necessary for the link function to be differentiable and invertible in order to fit a model. So I told you earlier, whatever the link function you are obtaining, it should be invertible as well as it should be differentiable. So this is, if it is not invertible, then you cannot write mu equal to this. Getting my point? So it should be invertible. It should be differentiable because we have to differentiate the link function later on. So that of any value of eta, there is a unique value of the mu. If you say that the link function is invertible, so we know that we get the unique solution. And that is how it is very important that link function should be invertible. Beyond this basic requirement, there are a number of functions that are appropriate for the distributions above. For each distribution, natural or canonical link function is defined by theta equal to g of mu. So when you write theta equal to g of mu, it is said to be a canonical link. It is also known as a natural link. So this word is very important. Theta equal to, when you write g of mu, so this link is said to be a canonical link function or it is a natural link function. So you can see that theta is a sum function of a mu. So what is that function? It is, the function name is a g. Okay, Hence, canonical link function for each of the above cases are. If your distribution is normal, what is the link function? So it is identity. Why link function is the identity? Because you write theta equal to mu. Here you have written theta equal to g of mu. And when we obtain the form of the theta, what was that? Theta equal to mu. When you talk about the Poisson distribution, what was the link we have obtained? Theta equal to log mu. So that means link name is a log and the form of the link is a g of mu equal to log mu. When you talk about the binomial distribution, whatever the link we have obtained, what is the link? It is a g mu equal to ln mu upon 1 minus mu. So the name of this link is a logit link. Okay, so binomial distribution, this link function is known as a logit link. And when you have a gamma distribution, we have obtained theta equal to 1 by mu, ignore the minus sign, then the link is a inverse. So these are the 4 distribution I have given here. Then I will give this some assignment that you have to obtain the form of the link function for a inverse Gaussian distribution. We will discuss it later also. Okay. So as you know that there are 3 gradients or ingredients of a generalized linear models. What are that? Distribution of data,
Linear predictors and
linear
Linear
predictor,
predictor, linear function.
Link functions.
and link function. Okay, so we have studied about the various distribution which are the member of exponential family. Which distribution we have studied? Normal,
normal,
binomial,
gamma,
Poisson, gamma. Okay, so these are the distribution. Negative binomials, exponential, these are all distributions are the member of family. And if we have the relation between mean and variance, we can easily identify the distribution. If we have the nature of the data, we can also easily identify the distribution. Okay, second ingredient is a linear predictor and third one is a link function. So link function can be obtained through the natural parameter theta. And when you write theta equal to g of mu, theta is a some function of mu. Such link is said to be either natural link or canonical link. Why the link function is important? Because the role of the link function is to connect the expected response to the linear predictor via link function. Because as we seen in the binomial case, the expected value of binomial response, or you can say the Bernoulli response, is the probability of success, and the range is lies between 0 to 1. However, the linear predictors may falls into the range real minus infinity infinity or on a real line. So we cannot directly compare as we compare into the normal distribution, that mu equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2. That is not possible in a Bernoulli case or the binomial case, and that is how we require to have a some transformation on a expected response. So that transformation is nothing but ln mu upon 1 minus mu, and that we obtain through the comparing binomial distribution with the exponential family distribution via theta, that is natural parameter, and the form of the link is said to be a logit link. Okay. Now we talk about the linear predictors. I already told you that whenever there is a covariate, it is directly enter into the linear predictor with the coefficient. But when it is of a factors, it enter into the linear predictor in the form of the parameters rather than the direct variable. So let us understand, and we will see the various way of writing the linear predictors. The covariate, also known as explanatory or predictor variables, enter in the model through linear predictor. So whenever there is a covariate present in your data, it directly enter into the model through linear predictor. This is also where the parameters occurs which have to be estimated. Which parameter? The coefficient associated with that variable. In the straight line for a single explanatory variable x, the linear predictor is given by beta 0 plus beta 1 x. And to fit this model, it is necessary to estimate the parameters beta 0 and beta 1. In this case, the actual value of x matters. Okay, तो यहाँ पे क्या है कि the x matters. X is a covariate, and that is how it directly enter into the linear predictors. In this, the other main type of covariate is a factor, which takes a categorical value. For example, the gender of the policy holder is either male or female. जैसे मैंने आपको I told about the motor insurance. In motor insurance claim, who was the policy holder, whether the policy holder is a male or policy holder is a female, which constitute a factor with the two categories or level. Because there are two categories, therefore there are two levels, and that is there are two parameters. If there are three categories, then there are three parameters, because there are three levels. Okay, low, moderate, and high. So there are three levels. Likewise, male, female, brand of a headphone. So there are three latest brand you are comparing. Then the brand 1, brand 2, and brand 3. Okay. The country of origin is again very important. Nowadays, due to the Atmanirbhar, everybody is looking for the Indian products. Okay. Even they are not looking for the MNC. If possible, they try to buy the product made by the Indian people. In this case, the actual value of x, so here we were talking about the gender of the policyholder is either male or female, which constitute the factors, or which consider factor with the two categories. This type of covariate can be parameterized so that the linear predictor has the term alpha 1 for the male and alpha 2 for the female. Thus, a model which includes an age effect and an effect of the gender of the policyholder could have the linear predictors alpha I plus beta x, where I equal to 1 for the male, that is alpha 1, and I equal to 2, that is for the female. And when you write x, so it is a beta x, because x is a covariate. So this is where you have to write the linear predictors. The values of alpha 1, alpha 2, and beta can be estimated using the method of maximum likelihood. Notice that the parameter beta 0 is redundant. You can see that earlier when we have added only the covariate, we have entered the intercept parameter. But here you could not see that there is intercept parameter beta 0. Why? Because it is redundant. Redundant means it is merged with the effect of the alpha 1 and alpha 2, and has not been included. It could not be estimated separately from the alpha 1 and alpha 2, क्योंकि उसकी सारी जो impact है कहाँ merge हो गई to obtain the estimate of alpha 1 and alpha 2. Notice that also that the effect of the age of the policyholder is the same, whether the policyholder is male or female. Here what happened, you can see that if I am talking about the male model, the beta is same. If I am talking about the female, the beta remain the same. That means there is no interaction effect between the gender and the age of the policyholder. But if I am looking for the interaction effect of the age and the gender of the policyholder, then my linear predictor is something like that. It is possible to allow the interaction effect between the two covariates age and sex, and to have a linear predictor of the form alpha I plus beta x. So if I am taking I equal to 1, that means I am talking about the male. That means what is the coefficient of age? So that is the beta 1. That is the coefficient for the male. So there is the interaction effect between the age as well as the gender of the policy holder. So in this way you can write the models. People also can write the models in a different way, similar to we usually write in the factorial experiment, the main effect of alpha, main effect of the beta, and the joint effect of the alpha and beta. In that way you can also write. In this case, the effect of the age of the policyholder is different for the male and female. So here, why the effect of age is different? Because instead of the coefficient beta, we have taken it is a beta I. So beta 1 for the effect of the age of the male policyholder, and beta 2 is the effect of the age of the female policy holder. So they are different from each other. In earlier case, it remained the same because we did not allow any interaction effect between the gender and age of the policy holder. A factor on its own is referred to as a main effect. If we are looking mainly factor itself, then it is said to be main effect. It is also possible to have an interaction between two factors, which would allow the effect of one factor on the response variable to depend on the value of the other factor. So you can fix one factor level, and if you change the another factor level, you can observe their effect on a response. Then such kind of effect is known as a interaction effect. And when an interaction term is used in the model, both main effects for the two factors and their interaction has the linear predictor. Suppose both are the covariate, both are the factors. So this is the effect due to the first factor, main effect due to the first factor. It is a main effect due to the second factor, and this is the interaction effect due to the first and second factor. If both the variables are factors, and if you are looking for the main effect as well as interaction effect model, then the linear predictor has this form, where alpha is nothing but the coefficient of main effect, beta j is the coefficient of the main effect of the second factor, and gamma ij is the interaction effect of the factor 1 and factor 2. However, if one factor and one covariate, and if you are looking for the interaction effect, then the form of the linear predictor is like that. If you have the one factor and one covariate, but you are only looking for the main effect, then the form is this. But if you are interested in main effect as well as interaction effect, when one factor and one covariate, then the linear predictor has this form. If both the factors are there, and if you are looking for the interaction effect and main effect, then the linear predictor has this form. So based on the nature of the variable, whether it is a factor or whether it is a covariate, the form of the linear predictors are changing, and this is very important. Okay, because if you are giving, while writing the programming in R, if you are giving the one factor, it does not understand. It is giving the two different estimate of the parameters that we will see in the practical part. This is the general expression that would allow for the interaction between any two parameters. Note that use of a dot implies a single, not here dot, but I will come to the following expression. Use of a dot implies a single term involving interaction between the two factors. Use of a star implies the terms corresponding to interaction between all possible subset of the two factors, including just factors themselves. So if you are writing the, let us say if you are writing alpha I dot beta j, it means you are talking about the interaction effect between the alpha I and beta j. But if I am writing the alpha I star beta j, it means it has the all possible interaction effect as well as the all possible main effect. So you can see the following table, it can help you to understand. This is the model and this is the corresponding linear predictors. Suppose if I wish to add only age as a covariate, then what is the form of linear predictors? It is beta 0 plus beta 1x. If I have only the sex as a factor, or it is the sex as a one of the variable which is responsible for the study, then what should be the form of linear predictor? It is alpha I. You can see that there is no x is involved. The factor directly involved as a parameters, alpha 1 for the male and alpha 2 for the female. But if you have a age as well as the sex both, then we have this form. If you are looking for the interaction effect, main effect of age, main effect of the sex, and interaction between age and sex, dot means it is purely interaction between them. Then the form of the linear predictor is alpha I plus beta I x. And if you are writing age star sex, it means all possible main effect of the factor age, variable age and sex, and all possible interaction effect. That means this is nothing but this, and that is how the linear predictor is the same. So when we are using the R language, the star has the different meaning and the dot has also a different meaning. When you give the dot, it is only giving the interaction effect, but when you give the star between two variable, it will give the all main estimate as well as the interaction estimate between them. But the form of the linear predictors of the last two form is remain the same. The last two models are equivalent and have been shown separately to illustrate the use of the model notation. In general, the actual value of variable enters in the linear predictor, while for a factor there is a parameter for each level that factor may take. In general, actual variable, if it is a covariate, directly enter into the linear predictors, and if it is a factor, then the parameters are introduced into the linear predictor. How many parameters are introduced? It is equal to the number of categories of that factor has. In our case, we have a sex having a 2 categories. That is how alpha equal to I takes value 1 and 2. For example, age and duration are variables. For example, age and duration. For example, if you are talking about the general insurance study and the accident take place, so what is the age of car? Or you can say the age of the policy holder and what is the duration of the car you have purchased. Whether the car is of a 3 years old, 2 years old, 5 years old. So that means that this data is of a quantitative in nature. So age and duration both are quantitative in nature. So you can see that both the variables directly enter into the linear predictors. X1 is nothing but the age of the policy holder and X2 is the duration of the car. Okay. So
Okay.
not that. Yes. Okay. Not that this is a linear predictor, since it is a linear in parameters alpha, beta 1 and beta 2. Why it is a linear predictor? Because it is linear in parameters. On the other hand, sex, insurance group are factors which have the categories, and so we must assign the parameters of each category. For example, if you are talking about the sex of the respondent, then linear predictor is SM if it is of a male, SF if it is a female. And this simplest model for a variable is the straight line, and this may be extended to the polynomials or to the function of variable and the linear predictors, including more than one variable. So it means that you can add term x1 square, x2 square, but the relation between the y and x is a linear in parameters. So whether the predictor is linear or not, it depends only on the power of the coefficient. Here all the coefficient having the power 1. It does not depend on the variable, whether it is x1, x1 square, x2 square. Then it is a polynomial of equation, but they are linear in parameters. तो ये टेबल जो हमने आपके साथ डिस्कस किया वो टेबल पहले आ गया, ठीक है. So this is what it is written here. The table below illustrates this age and duration of the treated as a variable, while sex and vehicle rating group are as a factor. And if there are more than that one factor in the model, then inclusion of interaction term implies that effect of each factor depends on the level of other factors. Sorry, the table is at below. Let's see. PA is nothing but the policyholder age. CG is nothing but the car rating group, and VA is nothing but the vehicle age. But these all are categorical, so they directly involve in the form of the direct parameters. So this we will see in the next lecture, and we will also talk about the form of the deviance. What is the use of deviance? We have discussed about the deviance in the previous. It is the measure of discrepancy. Lower the deviance, better the models. Okay. So in this session, we have seen about the ingredients of the generalized linear models. That is about the distribution of data, linear predictors, and link function. How to write the form of the linear predictors, how to which link function we have to use, how to decide the distribution of the data. We have taken the one example of a passing rate of the students based on the whether the student has attended the mock tutorial or not, whether the how many assignment is submitted by the students, and and mock test scores. And we have also obtained what is the probability of passing rate when the student has attended the tutorials and not attended tutorials based on the estimate of the parameters of linear predictors obtained by the maximum likelihood estimation methods. And then we show that the attender the tutorial is very important. So I will suggest that attendance of the online class is also very equally important to increase your passing rate and to increase your understanding of the subject. Any questions so far? Anyone? Anyone? So since no questions, so I will upload this session again on the YouTube. You can just download, and still there are 45 students have attended because we have almost 84 students mixing of applied and this. Okay. So suggest your other friends to attend. Thank you very much, and have a happy weekend. Thank you.